Friends, and welcome to part 3. Okay, so last time what we did on part 2 was we honed out the cylinder, and the intake valve was still good, and so was the valve guide. So we what do we do? Oh, we lapped the valve on that side. The exhaust valve was in really bad shape, which I showed you, and the valve guide was no good either. So I called Richards Lawn and Garden, and they're starting to run out of OEM parts. But his father said he cut this valve here, angle grinded it, and he gave me a brand new valve guide here. And also he gave me the gaskets to put the thing together, but we're missing the valve cover gasket, which is a cork gasket here. And also we're missing, oh, here it is. We're missing the plunger gasket. You can see it's like oval. So we're missing that. What I did was, I told you last time that I was going to order a 5,000ths over piston on eBay, which I did. The piston seemed to be a bit much, but I took the rings off and I put them on the standard rings that were on the standard piston rather, that we're going to be using. I had to take the exhaust valve, the intake valve spring off again, because it takes this gasket here. So I had to take the spring off so I could replace that gasket there, and then this one's for the exhaust valve there. So the piston seems to fit in there pretty good. I didn't measure the rings or anything like that, the gap in the ring. I just stuck it in there to see if it would fit in there. Now with these, what I do is I put the piston on the connecting rod, and this is tapered here, so you can just squeeze the ring some, and the cylinder will go back down with no problem. So what I'm going to have to do is, which I hate doing, I'm going to have to RTV the lifter plunger down here on the other side too, and the valve cover gaskets I'm going to have to just RTV it after I get done adjusting the valves. This is about as far as we're going to get right now. So I put that gasket in there. I have to put the spring back on and the keeper for the valve. And then what I'll do is I'll take and I'll lap the exhaust valve, which you saw me do on part 2. I'll leave a link to part 2 where we honed out the cylinder and I lapped the intake valve. And as soon as anything more exciting goes on, I had to do a lot of cleaning of parts and stuff so far. But this 5,000ths over piston, we could probably use it on something else. Like I said, it was just a bit much for this. I wish I could find a machine shop around, because I would have had it bored. But if I do find a machine shop, they usually take 2 or 3 months to do anything for you anymore. The guy that had the Gravely dealer used to do all my boring and valve work and stuff like that for me. But he's gone. Nobody else, none of these Gravely dealers except for Richards Lawn and Garden, they don't even want to look at you. They don't even want to get off the chair when you walk in there as soon as you mention an old Model L. And but that's how it is. I mean, what are you gonna do? Just wanted to show you how I took this valve guide out, and what I did was I took a 1/4 inch extension. I just put it this way on here where the ratchet would go on, and I just banged it out, no problem. Now to put the new one in, this fits right in there real good. So I got it started in here, so this way you don't burr anything up, and you could just hit. I don't have a press here, so this is how I have to do it. Then you gotta hope it's not going crooked like I think it is. Not sure. I might have to knock it back out and try it again. It's much easier and safer to do this if you have a press. I really don't like doing it like this. These valve guides seem to be really hard to get in. So what I did was I just sanded around here. I didn't take any metal off. I just sanded it real good. It seems to be going in now. Really don't like doing this like this, but we don't have a press, so we have no choice. It's supposed to stick up where the valve goes a little bit. Got a bit ways to go. You really gotta hope you don't crack anything here. I'm thinking it's the wrong valve guide. That's what I'm thinking. Because they're never this hard to put in. Hope I don't ruin my 1/4 inch here. Might be. I got others. Don't matter. Well, I'm pretty pissed off with this job so far. Press or no press, that valve guide shouldn't have been that hard to put in because we've changed them before here, and I used the same method. And I had a real hard time with it. I was banging the valve guide in and banging it out a little bit, and it was just, I don't think that fit. It didn't fit right. But the valve fit through the hole, and that's the important thing. So I got the valves back in. I put those gaskets on like I told you. That's why I take the intake valve off. And now another thing that's pissing me off here is that we have to use RTV now on the lifter plunger gasket. How's the gasket, I should say. Alright, so you have two cams. This is the exhaust side cam, and that's the intake cam over there. And then you have this plunger here, and this is the lifter here. So we'll have to use RTV. We have no other choice. All the gasket surfaces are clean. I use this messy crap. I don't know why they don't just sell the, Gravely doesn't sell the gasket set for the top end. It'd be a lot easier for everybody. I waste time with this crap. Yeah, at least the weather's nice. It's not too hot, not too cold. It's supposed to get back in the 90s next week. Can't wait. I think that's good. I can't tell you what a hard time I had getting these off. I'll tell you the truth, there's really nothing even wrong with the gaskets for these plungers here. this shit. I think we might quit soon while we're ahead today. It's unbelievable, this crap. See what I did? The stupidity, the idiocy. Shouldn't have to put this together like this. It's crazy. I think we're packing it in for the day. I'll continue tomorrow because I don't have the patience for this shit anymore today. Now that I got this RTV all over my hands, we'll continue. It's unbelievable today. It's crazy. Now I gotta remember to put the lifter back in after I coat this. I should just left this part of it alone. I mean, there was nothing wrong. You try to be a nice guy and, you know, do it the right way, and then you end up not getting the gasket for it. Unbelievable. Alright, now you can stick your lifter in, plop it down on there the right way. See, it's the lifter right here, and this is, I think it's 7/16. That's how you adjust the valves after the jug's on there, and I'll show you when we get to that part. I should put something down, a rag down in there. This way you don't drop the nut down in there. So let's see if we can drop the nut down in the engine. I'm sorry I got such a bad attitude, but this thing set me off now. had such a hard time getting these plungers out. They were really stuck. So this has to look like a box job now with RTV around it. So nothing we can do. I know it's not going to leak. That's not the problem. So we gotta be top that center right now. All right, so I'm going to put the other side on, and I have the jug base gasket too. We got to plop on there too before we plop the jug on there. I'll show you something with the piston I wanted to show you. Okay, so this slit over here in the piston that goes towards the exhaust side, and there's also an arrow on here. Sometimes it has a notch that goes to the back of the tractor. So all you have to do is what I did is just take one clip out. The other clip is in here in the piston. So you're going to slide this down here. You get a general idea with your finger here where the connecting rod is, if I could ever find it. I wonder today why I didn't just stay in bed. It's one of those days. Now I gotta have a fly bother me. See how I stuck the pin in there first, like I just did? That's the easier way to do it. Alright, so before we put the piston on, I put the base gasket on for the cylinder. And then, like I showed you before, it's got it's got a gasket on this side and that side, the round gasket. And this is the valve cover gasket, which we'll have to take off once I get the engine on there. And we'll check to see what the gap is, the valve tappet. So that's on there good. What I do is I put a ratchet with a 5/16 socket on the flywheel and I lock it down so when you're pushing the cylinder on, the crank can't go down. I forgot another thing to tell you, like I had the valves out and everything and all that. When you reassemble it, either use assembly grease, which I don't have any, I just use motor oil. Make sure you oil everything up, all the parts, before you reassemble. I'm going to put a nice coat of oil on the cylinder. We got to put this clip in here, you can't forget that. I did that in a while. You know what? You can't take any chances with these clips. So I got to stick something down in the cylinder and into the top end of the engine there, in case you have a mishap. And that's bound to happen today, the way things are going here with us. I just use needle nose pliers for these, for this. You should really use a better pair of pliers than what I'm using here to do this. And then just give it a twist to make sure it's in there, but it'll move in the slot. So we're good with that. Alright, so I have videos on putting the cylinder on. I'm not going to take any chances to put the cylinder on camera here today. So, we used the 5,000 over rings I told you before on the standard piston. It should be alright. Once I get this down on there, we'll see how this is. Worst comes to worst, I have to pull it out and fire the rings down. But I think it'll be alright. So, I guess the next time I'll come back to you is when we're going to adjust the valves. Okay, so I ended up adjusting the valves off camera. And what you want to do with that is you want to bring the piston up to top dead center with the valves closed and the piston all the way up. And if you could remember when I had the lifter out, it had that, I guess it's a 1/4 inch bolt because you use a 1/2 inch wrench to adjust. So what you're going to do is you're going to adjust from that top of that bolt to the valve stem. And you want to go 15 thousandths gap. And you do both sides the same way. The intake and the exhaust are both 15 thousandths. And then after I get done doing that, what I do is I rotate the engine around all the way and bring it back to top dead center and then check your gap again. Okay, so we RTV'd, you know, we used the gasket maker on the lifter plungers. It's a no-no. You need all the gaskets because what ended up happening is when I mounted the cylinder back down with the gaskets that we had on hand, because we RTV'd the plunger, it wasn't taking up the space that it should have. So now when I bolted the cylinder down, you can actually wiggle the valve train tube. We'll have to see what happens. This video is how not to do this job. You know, that's why I'm giving you these helpful hints of you need all the gaskets. You can't leave anything undone. So before I put the handles on, it was easy to just put these heat shields on first. Then I put I set the hood down on there, and then I bolted the handlebar. I put this bolt in first on the upper part of the handlebar on both sides. This way it's easier to catch the bolt down here. The only thing I have left to do is I have to put the shifter handles and rods back in. We used the carburetor and the air cleaner hose. We used it on the 65 Gravely L that we just got because I was short of carburetor on that. It came with a carburetor, but I don't know what the story is with that. So I have to uncover that tractor. I'll back it down off the trailer. I'll pull the carburetor off that and stick it on here. And we'll see if it starts. I want to see how it runs and everything. If it's leaking oil out of those tubes, a part that has to come again. Well, I guess the only thing we could do now is see what happens if anything happens. Oh, we got a little something out of it. Alright, so I don't want to waste any more time with pull starting this thing. Once I get it running, if it runs, I'll get back to you. Well, it doesn't sound too bad. It took about 4 or 5 pulls to get it started. I'm going to have to put the air cleaner hose back on it and the air cleaner and readjust the carburetor again on it. I put the board under there to see if we got any oil leaks. So, not too bad. Running a little rich. I did have to adjust the carburetor a little bit from what we had it on the 65L. I'm going to let it run like this for about 20 minutes, and then I'll put the air cleaner hose on, the air cleaner, I'll readjust the carburetor, and then we'll just take it for a ride around here. My important thing I'm worried about is an oil leak. Alright, so far it seems to be okay. There's no oil leak. It is popping a little bit, but I don't know if it's because the spark plug may be fouled from the way it was burning oil before. I'm not really sure. I put the air cleaner on, the air cleaner hose. I readjusted the carburetor. I would just take it for a quick spin and see how it does. Running out of gas. That I know. I don't know how good the gas tank is on this one, because we had that carburetor on this tractor. So I don't know if there's dirt in the carburetor. That's what it sounds like. It doesn't sound like valves or anything like that. But I still have to put the top heat shield on. But the tractor's too hot to do that right now. So I made sure the oil was full before, and it is. We haven't used it much since I changed the oil on this. Alright, so next thing we're going to do is I'm going to put this Mulcher brush hog on that. So in the next video, we'll test it and see how it does. I want to try to get it to run better though. I'll just go through the carburetor and just do one of my quick carburetor cleanings on it. I'll do that, and I'll check the fuel filter and make sure that's alright. Because when I put the carburetor on the 66, I put the fuel line with the fuel filter. I put it on there. So far it's not leaking oil. I didn't have much faith in this. Seems to be alright. It's got good compression. It sounds pretty good. And the important thing, when I put it away, I just make sure there's no oil leaks on the ground. And we fixed all the oil leaks on this already, putting axle seals in and stuff. And that's going to be it for this one. I know I lost my mind a little bit in one of the segments, but it's to be expected. I guess that's it. I want to thank everybody for watching. I hope to see you all on the next one. And take care. Well, I cleaned out the carburetor for nothing. It turned out to be the spark pluggers valve from all that engine trouble it had, burning the oil and everything like that. So it's running very good now, and I'm surprised. And it still has no oil leaks. Alright, just wanted to let you know that. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.